Day by day, African Americans are being discriminated against by a group who are so-called protectors. These protectors will be no other than our police officers. The media portrays tons of evidence of African Americans being tormented by the police. They are given punishments that they don't deserve, such as giving an unnecessary ticket, being beaten, or being shot in front of their family members because they were accused of being armed. In agreement with finding jurors who will say not guilty, jury selection is a dark art practiced by an industry of consultants who promise to sort antagonists. These antagonists happen to be the African American community. By now, we should pretty much be informed by this predicament. A Black Lives Matter movement has been set up to hold protests against police killings of African Americans, but some people still don't acknowledge the pain in which the race is going through. Instead, we have an opposing group which is known as the All Lives Matter movement. It is true that all lives matter, but it takes away the purpose of the Black Lives Matter goals. The purpose of the Black Lives Matter is to create equal opportunities and to receive better treatment, specifically for the African American community. This problem is occurring all throughout the United States and has reached its all-time high back in 2016. According to The Atlantic, Baltimore has paid millions more in police misconduct settlements over the last 4 years than other similar-sized cities like Fort Worth and Austin, Texas. Also, Chicago happens to be the outliner with a disproportionately high number of lawsuits and settlements for the size of the black population. Their population size is up to 32%. Up until now, police brutality still remains in action. The problem has become less active now on social media, and not that many reports have been made on the issue since 2016. Racism is what happens to be the cause of this mayhem. For example, in corrupt law enforcement, a teenage girl named Tatiana lost her father, Oscar Grant, in 2009. Her father was shot by police officers while detained and unarmed at Fruitvale Police Station. The police officer says he has mistaken his gun for a taser. It is stories like this that people need to be aware of because these incidents have been occurring for longer than most may think. Nearly 102 black people were killed nearly twice a week by police officers. What each of these victims had in common was that they were unarmed. Most statistics show that African Americans were being discriminated against because of their skin color. Police officers are only given a certain amount of power. They are only allowed to put out a certain amount of force in order to put a victim down. Killing the person because of their skin color is violating their rights. So why are cops getting away with murder? According to the blog, a Baltimore police lieutenant, Brian Rice, was scheduled for a trial for the death of Freddie Gray. The victim, Gray, just like a significant amount of police killings, was African American. Police brutality may not be able to actually be stopped, but it should be slowed down. Of course, there are going to be people who discriminate against others. That is the complexity of the situation. We need to start realizing that we are all still human beings. Our skin color shouldn't separate us and change our opinions towards one another. The government has to agree with us and start fixing the problem. They know that the Black Lives Matter movement has been going around. Social media has multiple videos for proof of the killings, the riots, and protests. This should be enough to recognize that an entire community is suffering and deserves better treatment. According to Ways to Fight Back, the people must protest and march against every incident of police brutality. Every time the police harass anyone, record them and catch them in the act. We as a people should join communities and pass around the hashtag Black Lives Matter all over social media. Also, during these court cases, the jurors should rule in favor of the person who actually was violated and gets their rights. Doing this could possibly slow down the rates for police killings of African Americans. Hopefully, the government listens to our requests. Racism will never die off, but maybe we could slow it down a little bit. Shouldn't we all have a positive mindset towards each other no matter our race or skin color? We must come together as a whole and portray the equality that everyone deserves. We all are equal and no one should have to go through discrimination. Maybe we can help solve the situation and make this country a better place.